picture this. 1981.
Okay.
Disco's on its way out. Shoulder pads, they're like the thing.
Egg hair.
Yeah, big hair. And in like a sleepy Connecticut town, this murder case just blows up.
Really?
And their defense, get this, the devil made me do it.
Sounds like a movie or something.
It does, right. And it kind of did become a movie.
Oh, wow.
Arie and Johnson.
Okay.
And this whole thing with 11-year-old David Glatzel supposedly possessed.
Uh-huh.
I mean, he was everywhere. News, the whole bit.
Yeah.
Even inspired The Conjuring 3.
Oh, wow. I've seen that one.
So we're going deep on this one. You know, articles, interviews. We even got a piece of a book about it all.
It's interesting how these cases, even like so long ago, still make you think about like what we believe, mental health, all that.
It really makes you think like what's real, you know, not just like a ghost story.
Right.
So all right, let's start with who's who in this whole thing.
Okay.
You got Debbie Glatzel and her little brother David, he's 11, and her boyfriend, Arie Cheyenne Johnson.
Okay.
They move into this house, right? And it's like, boom, everything goes sideways.
From what I read, they were living that small town life.
Yeah.
And then it's like all these strange things start happening.
Yeah, it was David, right?
It all seems to start with him. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's seeing this scary figure, calls it a beast.
What, like a monster?
Yeah, like an old man, but with hooves.
Okay, that's creepy, but it gets worse, right?
Oh, definitely. This is just the beginning. David starts acting really strange.
Like how?
Like having these convulsions.
Oh.
Speaking in languages he doesn't know. And get this, even quoting Paradise Lost.
Wait, he's like reciting Milton at 11.
That's what they say.
That's wild.
Yeah, and I mean, you can see why people started thinking like some supernatural's going on.
Yeah, no kidding.
And the thing is, it wasn't just in the house, you know?
So it wasn't the place, it was David.
That's what it seemed like. Yeah, people were scared. But you got to remember, David's older brother, Carl Glatzel Jr.
Okay.
He thought he thought David needed a doctor, not the church.
So right away, there's two ways of looking at it.
Exactly.
Mental illness or like the devil.
And that's the whole thing with the story, that tension.
So the family, they go to the church, right? But like the blessings and stuff, it doesn't work.
Right. It wasn't enough. And that's when they call in the big guns, Ed and Lorraine Warren.
The Warrens, weren't they like famous for that Amityville case?
Exactly. The DeFeo murders, and then the Lutzes saying the house was haunted.
Oh, right.
So yeah, they were like the paranormal investigators back then.
And what did they think about David?
Yeah, what do you think? They said he was possessed.
No surprise there.
Right. But get this, by 43 demons.
43 seems a bit much, even for, a demon thing.
Even then, people said they like to make things sound more dramatic. But they were, like, totally serious. They said they saw him levitate, heard all these demonic voices, and they even recorded some of it.
What'd they get on those recordings?
Well, they got David acting really strange, like I said. And there's this, like, really creepy part where he says, Cheyenne dies at work tomorrow.
Talking about Arie.
Yeah.
What happened?
He didn't die, but he fell out of a tree the next day, like 20 feet. It was bad.
Man, this is getting spooky. It's like, one of those horror movies, right?
A little bit, yeah.
We got this supposed possession, a creepy prediction, then almost a death.
Right.
Where does it go from there?
This is where things get really, really dark. After weeks of this supposed demon stuff, there's a tragedy.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Arie and his landlord, Alan Bono, they get into it.
A fight.
A bad one. They were both drinking, and Arie ends up stabbing Bono. He dies.
That's when the whole thing, like, exploded, right? I mean, now it's a murder, not just, some weird stuff happening.
Exactly. It went from, like, local news to, like, national news overnight.
Everyone was talking about it.
Uh-huh. This small-town Connecticut thing was suddenly a huge story. And the Warrens, they don't back down. They were there for all the David stuff.
Right.
And now they're saying Arie, when he killed Bono, he was possessed too.
Hold on. So they're saying the demon, it like jumped from David to Arie.
That's what they're saying. Yeah.
And that made him kill.
That was their whole defense.
Wow, talk about a media circus. Right?
Wow, yeah. This thing blew up. Every newspaper, TV, everyone's talking about demons and murder.
It's like something out of a movie.
Right. And people were like all over the place with it.
Yeah.
Some thought it was like proof of the devil.
Right.
Others thought it was just, a way to get away with murder.
So what about the trial? Did they really try to like prove it in court
Arn's lawyer, Martin Minella, he seemed ready to go all in.
on the demon thing.
Yeah, he was even talking about bringing in like psychic experts from all over the world.
Wow.
But the judge, Robert Callahan, he shut that down fast.
Wouldn't want any of that in his courtroom.
Basically, yeah. He said it wasn't relevant, could confuse the jury.
So no demons allowed.
Nope. Had to stick to, like, the law.
So what did Minella do?
He had to change his whole strategy. Now it was self-defense.
Okay, so what did they, present in court?
The prosecution, they kept it pretty straightforward. They had the knife. It was Arn's witnesses who saw the fight.
Uh-huh.
And both of them, Arn and Bono, they were drunk.
They were.
Oh, yeah, toxicology reports showed it.
Oh.
Bono especially, he was, like, really drunk.
The prosecution's saying it's just, a bar fight gone wrong.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
And Minella, he's trying to say Bono was the one who started it.
Okay.
That he was picking on Arn's young cousin, Mary.
So that's why Arn snapped.
That's what she's arguing. But the judge, he was like, super careful. Anything even hinting at, like, supernatural stuff, he shut it down.
So even though they couldn't talk about the demon, it was still there, like hanging over everything.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, the jury, they had to have heard all about it, right?
All the news and everything.
Right. And when they first came back, they couldn't agree.
Couldn't agree on a verdict?
They were deadlocked after, like, 50 minutes.
50 minutes, that's it. Seems kind of fast for a murder trial.
That's what the judge thought, too. He told them to try again, reminded them of this other case where a jury finally figured it out.
Hey.
They did reach a verdict,
Okay.
but it wasn't murder. They found him guilty of manslaughter.
So not totally what the prosecution wanted.
Right. And some of the jurors later said they thought maybe Arn just meant to hurt Bono, not kill him.
Interesting. So what happened to Arn?
He got the max for manslaughter, 10 to 20 years.
That's a long time.
The judge said it was because he didn't seem sorry.
Did he serve it all?
No, he got out early, in 86. Good behavior.
Okay, so that's it then, right? Trial over. Arn does his time.
Well, not quite. The whole, like, demon debate, it didn't go away.
People were still talking about it.
Oh, yeah. And then there was this book, came out in 83.
A book about the case.
Yeah, called The Devil in Connecticut.
Catchy title.
Right. This friend of the Warrens wrote it.
So they're still pushing their version of things.
Definitely. And this book, it brought all the attention back to the Glatzels.
The family?
Yeah, David and his brother Carl, they weren't happy about it.
What? They didn't like the book?
They hated it. They actually sued the author and the publisher.
Sued them. Why?
They said the book was, like, made up, full of lies.
Really?
And that it was just exploiting them, hurting them, messing with their lives.
Sounds like they felt betrayed by, the Warrens and everyone.
Totally. And here's the thing. The lawsuit, it showed how divided the family was.
Divided? How?
Carl and David, they wanted nothing to do with the demon stuff.
Right.
But Debbie and Arn, they were still saying it was all true.
So even within the family, there's two sides to the story.
Yeah. And Lorraine Warren, she dismissed the lawsuit, said it was all based on what the parents said.
The parents.
Yeah, and that 6 priests were involved, so it had to be legit.
6 priests. Wow. Were they the same ones who did the exorcism stuff with David?
That's not clear. The diocese, they wouldn't say anything about it.
Just that there wasn't a, official exorcism.
Right. That's all they'd confirm.
More questions than answers. What happened with the lawsuit?
They lost. The court sided with the author and the publisher.
So they couldn't stop the book.
Nope.
Man, that's rough.
Yeah.
They tried to take back their story, and it didn't work.
It just adds to the whole tragedy of it all.
For everyone involved.
Yeah.
It's easy to get lost in all the crazy stuff.
Right.
But we got to remember, this was about a kid who was hurting.
Yeah, you're right. David, what he went through, that's important.
Mm-hmm.
It gets, like, overshadowed by all the demon talk and the murder and all that. But he was just a kid dealing with some serious stuff.
And it sounds like it didn't just go away when the possession was over, right?
No, not at all. There were reports that he kept having problems.
Like what?
Behavioral issues, mental health stuff for years.
That's awful.
And then because of the case, he got bullied. People treated him differently.
Like he couldn't escape it,
It's like he was haunted by the whole thing.
It's so sad, A kid goes through something like that, and then it just gets turned into a spectacle.
Yeah, the media, the book, the movie, it makes you think,
About how we treat people in these situations.
Exactly. Especially kids, they're so vulnerable.
So where does this leave us? What's the takeaway from all this?
Well, I think it shows how important it is to think critically.
Yeah.
When you hear something crazy, you got to be careful.
Right.
Look at all the sides, listen to everyone, especially the people who aren't being heard.
And it reminds us that, mental health, it's not always simple.
Definitely. It's not always black and white.
We got to have compassion, try to
Yeah,
understand.
I'm not jump to supernatural stuff right away.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this case, it's a warning, right?
I think so.
About believing things without evidence
Mm-hmm.
and how putting on a show can hurt people.
Exactly.
Well, this has been a wild ride, that's for sure.
It's definitely a case that makes you think.
About true crime, the paranormal, what's real, what isn't.
It challenges you, that's for sure.
So what do you think about all this? Head over to our website, let us know.
Yeah, leave a comment, share your thoughts.
And if you like this deep dive, hit that subscribe button wherever you get your podcasts.
We've got new episodes every week, all sorts of topics, uncovering the stories behind the headlines.
So until next time, keep those brains working.